Pear, and welcome to the Fruit Bowl cast. Today we're going to be viewing various matches from all of the Overwatch League teams and discussing each play in detail as well as strategies used on both sides. Today's a beautiful Tuesday morning, afternoon, or night at the time of this recording, depending on what side of the world you're on, and that makes it a perfect day for some Overwatch. Today we're watching the Chengdu Hunters take on the Shanghai Dragons in their second match of the season. In the prior day's matches, we saw Shanghai take a 3-0 win against the Guangzhou Charge, and the Chengdu Hunters suffered a morale-breaking 3-0 loss to the Hangzhou Spark. Will Shanghai be able to keep burning down the Pacific Division, or will Chengdu be motivated more than ever to hunt down the Dragons? Let's find out.
Is this the part where I press play?
I think it is. I think it is definitely the part where you press play.
Yes, hello, it's me, Pear. Welcome to the broadcast. So obviously, momentum's obviously with the Shanghai after yesterday's results for them. We saw the Hunters got reverse swept by the Spark, and the Dragons dominating the Charge. Just been an interesting one to watch. We're seeing the Rhine Diva coming out for the Dragons. We haven't seen much of that recently. And Orisa Sigma coming out for the Hunters.
I honestly don't think there's a strategy coming off of Chengdu's team. If you look at the composition differences, Chengdu are just playing whatever they like playing. And we're going to see that a lot during this series. They're a team that plays whatever they feel like playing, whenever they feel like playing it. So let's see how that turns out for them.
DM switched over to McCree. This is what we call the meta after the first few weeks before hero bands came in. Exchanging some poke damage.
Except that they are missing Lucio, so that speed boost coming onto Reinhardt is not going to be there for this match.
It's going to be a lot less mobile, but very mobile it is. Diva chasing Jinmu down, doesn't find him and starts capping the point. Leave, firing in damage. Not finding anything as point does go over to the Dragons, captured by Void.
And Chengdu are running a very mobile composition with the Hangzhou and the Sigma and Zen and Baptiste. They're running a comp that can move around a lot around the point and corner the Shanghai Dragons and things like that.
Very immobile, but when they get the point flipped, they'll start to build up that bunker. But seems Fearless getting close to that shatter.
I wonder who capped the point for Shanghai, because I guess whatever was happening off at the side was just a distraction to get somebody on that point.
Jimmy's just picked up 2. He takes out the backline of the Hunters. Now leave, freezing up DM, gets the Immortality Field, and that is the end for the McCree for Shanghai. Melee can make the bonus point, and this is where Chengdu wants to set up.
That was a very well-timed Immortality Field to keep the Mei alive. If it wasn't for that, I think that encounter could have gone very differently.
Now, Jinmu does have the Dragon Strike. Fearless, the Shanghai Dragons switching over to this bunker-style comp as well. So
and Jinmu is playing Hangzhou, and Hangzhou is one of Jinmu's key heroes. He's very good at playing it, and getting that free reign there in the backline to ravage the Dragons is not going to be good for that attack, especially going through the choke.
Comes in with a flux. Does pick up a few members. Doesn't kill him. Void goes really down. The pull comes through, and that's done. Elsa picks up a double thanks to the amplification matrix.
Yeah, Elsa and Jinmu are filling up the kill feed.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a stagger on Izzyaki there, and about getting to equal percentage, and Jinmu seems to be hiding here. Nope, I don't know the map very well. Looks like Lee's going to be looking for a wall in this choke. You can see his outline there.
Yeah, you can see. This is not going well for the Dragons. They cannot get through that choke.
So much burst damage coming through. Looking to step forward now, but Ding and Void are on the flank. They go
going for a flank, but Yveltal saw them and let his team know. And they're being cut off.
Also with the shield getting frozen up though, as Yveltal falls to DM and Ding picks up the Sigma for the Dragons. Neve going lower and lower to Ding's Icicle saying he's the last man standing and he's not going to do much against the entire team. Pause comes through.
Well, that sucks. Well, that'll give us a chance to talk really quickly about what we're seeing here. I'm kind of sad that we're not seeing Among on the Wrecking Ball. Do you think we'll see that at all during this series?
Well, we do know this is a very Chinese style of Overwatch team, and Chinese teams tend to play the fast dive. They like the ball, they like the Winston. Winston obviously out due to hero pools this week, but I do think we'll definitely see at least some Wrecking Ball from Amon today.
Yeah, and with that fast dive, we see that Chengdu always chooses a unique style of that fast dive. I mean, not too many teams will run Wrecking Ball in a dive composition, but it seems like whatever composition Chengdu runs, if they want to do the fast dive, they're going to build their composition around whatever Among picks, which just shows you how important he is to the composition of this team.
Yeah, sorry, can I unpause now as... Oh, hello. Alright, sorry, I've got my percentages all wrong there. Li Zhengong switched over to the back from the break, and Chengdu are going to start making their way towards the point now.
Right, and the ult economy rests squarely in Chengdu's hands. I mean, sure, they're even in terms of ults, but Chengdu clearly have the better ults, but they're burning through them while Shanghai is just holding on to theirs.
Also gets frozen up by Ding. Blizzard comes through and trans in from Molly as well. Izayaki finds Jinmu. Dian is incredibly low, as is Ding. We've got to finish off this kill, and Molly does clean body shot from the Zen there. Now Chengdu are going to start taking up some space here.
This is some very good production quality we're seeing here from the league.
Izayaki nearly goes down and does pop the Transcendence. We are in last fight territory now. This is a make or break fight for the Hunters.
Yeah, but we've seen the Hunters come back from far worse.
Pulled off.
Whoa, Void.
Ameng with a lovely halt off the edge.
Beautiful halt from Ameng.
Yeah, and Chengdu can start making their way fully onto this point now. They flipped it over. 97% for the Dragons, but there's 80 for the Hunters, and now Dragons are under all the pressure.
Yeah.
Especially as Ding goes down there to leave.
And the Dragons are not performing well under the pressure from the Hunters.
No, Elsa's got this flux. He can just pop it and stop them from moving anywhere in this choke. Izayaki falls to the storm arrows of Jinmu. And now this is all hands on deck. Seeing try and touch, but the flux comes through from Elsa and no one can get to the point.
And that's the first round. So really great stuff coming from both sides. They're playing very dominant Overwatch on the Hunters side, and I think the difference maker there is the Hangzhou being played versus the McCree. The Hangzhou is so much more mobile, and you need that mobility on that first point. There's just no way around that. But we're seeing Ding come out on the Pharah and a Symmetra from DM. Wrecking Ball is on both sides. That's perfect. That's what I've been wanting to see.
Seeing more dive comps. I think DM's just going to be going for that teleport to get everyone into the neutral just that little bit quicker.
Yeah, and then he's going to go back. I would guess Tracer, once he sees that Leave is playing the Tracer, he'll swap off. And we're seeing Jinmu on the Genji now. Jinmu...
Another one of his favorite picks.
Don't sleep on Jinmu's Genji. If you've ever seen him play Genji, he's fantastic at it.
Absolutely. And looks like Shanghai are going to be making some presence on point. The pharmacy just above it. This is really bad news for the Hunters, the pharmacy, because they can't really get up and contest it.
And just as I predicted, DM goes over to the Tracer to try and duel against Leave, keep him from terrorizing that backline, because the healers are so vulnerable to Leave.
Absolutely. Well, speaking of Leave being vulnerable, he himself is as he falls to DM. Jinmu picks up Izayaki, but DM picks up a second.
Yeah, DM and Ding are very much dominating that choke point. There's nothing much that Chengdu can do to get through there.
Let's catch the point for the Hunters, and they start a growing percentage. DM's nearly got his pulse already, so if he can stick that onto the Zen, that's another fight won without really any heavy invest.
Yeah, and I'm surprised we're not seeing Jinmu swap off onto the Pharah and have Yveltal go over to the Mercy, because we know that both of them play very well on those respective heroes, so they should be trying to counter Ding, but they're not. They're just funneling themselves through into that rocket fire.
Yeah. Speaking of fire, here's DM giving some into the back of Jinmu, but doesn't find anything. Why does get slammed up, but DM's forced to recall, but Ding finds the Zen anyway.
Pressuring the Tracer from the back.
Yeah. Looks like Chengdu nearly get a cap on the point, nearly got the back cap off, but Ding is uninterrupted in the sky. Elsa's trying to get up and challenge him with the Mercy Pocket. The Diva just won't do enough.
Even if Jinmu doesn't want to go onto the Pharah, I mean, I think either Hanzo or Widowmaker would be a great pick to get her out of the sky, because we need that Pharah gone so that Chengdu can make a decent push.
Well, they've grouped up top left. Frame rate rapidly decreasing.
Oh, well, you know, it is a Chinese match broadcasted from America.
At least it's the broadcast and not my computer.
Oh,
Barrage does come through from Ding. You can see that with the 2 frames he was. Leave falls to DM. Arming drops to the arm of Izayaki. And Li Shagon battle mercying onto Jinmu. Seeing Yveltal's job there as Ding finds Molly as well.
We're watching an Overwatch picture book. What's happening here?
All 2 frames are telling me this is dominance to the Dragons as they're getting up to 80%. There's nobody in a position to touch from Chengdu, I think. And now as we see, Shanghai have used their ultimate darkness.
Well, we couldn't see much 90%. There.
Nah. But we are going to see 5 ults online for the Chengdu Hunters. Only 5% left on the point for the Dragons to obtain as Jimmu takes out Dean with the blade. Going after Li Jaegon, looking to pad out his highlight reel.
Can we
Sees the mercy.
please have a replay of how Jinmu managed to get the tracer with that, or the not the tracer, the Pharah? How did he manage
I'd
to get
love
the
to
blade
see
off the
that
Pharah?
too. No idea, but
Well, whatever he did,
the
it
point does
worked.
flip over. Yeah,
Because
I don't know what black magic he pulled out there, but
I mean,
it's evidence.
once he took out the dominance in the sky from Pharah, the rest of the team was able to move on to the point fairly quickly.
Yeah, I didn't have to invest too heavily.
No, they don't.
There's
And
a lot of good
they have
skill
three
online.
ults online, and I mean, Genji is just going to get so much feed onto his ult percentage, especially with the
Yeah,
wrecking
big.
ball.
Things looking for a barrage here as Leaf does go low to DM. Jimmu finds Izayaki and now he's on the Diva in the top left, but doesn't really need to fight this. There's no real way for the Dragons to win this, or say that, but Ding
Whoa, there
finds over
goes
Chris
Jinmu.
Rock. Void's mech is getting pressured out by Leaf's Tracer as he switches attention to Ding in the sky. Not going to find any luck though, flying too high for the pistols to be of effect.
We're seeing Leave is just bouncing around the point trying to get whatever he can, but the heroes on the Shanghai Dragons,
The barrage is found
whoa,
by Jinmu.
taken out by Jinmu.
Red's trying to come through from Niche, gets it, survives on 6 HP, but then falls to Elsa. Now Ding's going to try and do some work without his mercy, and here comes Elsa to challenge him. Remains somewhat healthy, goes down to 1 and is finished off by the Diva there. Now, Fearless tries to scarp with his life and does, but we're going to be seeing 4 ults online for the Hunters into this final fight territory, really. Trans isn't too far away either.
And
They've got to deal with a bomb and a minefield.
you notice each and every one of the fights that Chengdu has won in this round have been from picking off that Pharah early on in the fight. They're trying to get rid of that dominance in the sky, and once they do, I mean, what else can Shanghai? What else can Shanghai fight back with?
Jinmu dashes up in the air, doesn't blade. He's getting pressured down by a lot of angles. The mines are on top of him. He goes up. He nearly gets that, but Ting gets him with an air shot.
Well, now we know how he did it the first time.
But not as successful this time as Leave looking for a target, settles on Fearless and finds him. Void flying above the point does have the self-destruct, just uses it to remech. Armin goes up onto Izayaki, but he's precariously low, but Leave and Elsa joining the cavalry truly arriving there.
Well,
Nijagon getting the resurrect off onto Izayaki, but it might be too little too late. Fearless bounces onto the point, we're at 99.99. Eamon goes to the pulse bombers. Molly finds Void's mech. Jimmu picks off Izayaki as Leaf looking for some values. Veltal kills 2, both tanks falling to the rocket flail there. Not just DM trying to stall out the point. He does get the nano boost, but the 6 member of the hunters around him and he has been hunted.
okay, what was the point of avoid using that self-destruct right at the end? I don't know if you. I know we were trying to get the remake, but it feels like such a waste of an ultimate. I mean, they could have saved it maybe like pressured, because we saw near the end Chengdu was all out in the open. Maybe it would have been good to wait, but they didn't. Very.
Maybe a poor decision coming through from there from Shanghai. Void was getting pressured down pretty hard
Yeah,
though. So
it came when there was just pure chaos happening on the point. I mean, it was just falling apart for the Dragons, and they were just trying to throw themselves onto the point or throw themselves out, trying to get as many picks as they could, and it didn't work.
well, maybe that's we move on to the second map of the series.
Dorado.
Dorado. We're seeing Fletter and Lip come in for the Dragons, as well as Stand 1 on main tank.
Is in for Fearless, and we know that Lip is definitely a superior damage dealer to DM, and that's my opinion. Watching both of them play several matches, Lip usually just lights up the kill feed, and DM relies a lot on his backline to support his kills. And we're seeing
Lip going onto the Widowmaker, but Widow for the Hunters is Bacon Jack, subbed in this time.
Love watching Bacon Jack play. Bacon Jack is going to be very entertaining this round, especially on the Widowmaker. All you have to do is really give her the good sightlines, and I mean, whoever's playing her can pop off.
We're seeing Arming on the Zarya and Elsa on the Sigma. I don't think they'll be sticking this one though, as they go over to Bull Sigma.
Like I said, Ameng playing that Wrecking Ball, everything is going to be built around him. Even if it doesn't make sense to us, I'm sure it makes sense to them, and I think they're going to play it.
Looking for an angle, looking for a shot. Sees arming but can't do anything against that tight compact ball. I also switched over to the Orisa and Molly goes onto the Ana. Bacon Jack's got a funny little sightline here. He can see our buildings but no one's peeking him.
What is that sight line? What is he looking for? Whatever he's looking for, I'm sure he thinks he's found it. He's going to try to move in, I bet.
Yeah, but this is a good rotation out of Shanghai to prevent this. They're freezing up Armeng, do get him, but don't quite finish him off as Jinwoo's discorded in the sky, fighting around the fountain here, pressuring down the backline of the Dragons.
Jinwoo's playing Pharah where she's the least effective on the ground, peeking around cover.
He has found a decent sightline here onto the backline. Stamwon gets slept and Molly finds Izzyaki. Elsa going incredibly high on the front line as Stamwon answers onto Molly and Fletcher onto Elsa, but Lip falls to Jinwoo. Jinwoo now looking to get some work done against this quite healthy bunker. They've still got the Orisa, the Sigma and the Mei alive here, Shanghai. But the Orisa coming back from the res for Chengdu will be critical for winning this. Bacon Jack, meanwhile, on the flank, gets found out by the accretion. Fletcher freezing up Armeng and warding him off. He's not going to get out of this one particularly healthy, or even at all. Still getting frozen and still somehow not dead.
What is this movement? He was swinging all around. I don't even know how he managed to maneuver in that small of an area. I couldn't possibly imagine doing that. That was great movement.
I know. When I do that, I get hit by every CC from the opposing team.
Yeah. This is why these guys are the Grandmasters and we're not.
Oh, speak for yourself. Bacon Jack finds Izzyaki in the backline. Trying to now find Fletcher, who is answering back with some icicles, but he's no match for the one-tap ability as Ameng finds Lip. This gives Bacon Jack free real estate onto the backline, but even more estate goes to Jimmer as he finds Fletcher and falls. The shield of Sigma gets rezzed back up, and now Bacon Jack free-firing whatever he wants. Void won't last much longer, and Stamwon doing all he can, but no match for Jimmu's Farahs. I'm going to be capped here, I think, for the Hunters.
I'm sure that the composition this round is just the Chengdu Hunters are just messing with Shanghai. They picked the Farah. They said, "Hey, remember when you really messed up our backline and all of our pushes during that last map? Yeah, here's a taste of your own medicine." And Jinmu is showing complete dominance with the Farah.
Lip's looking to try and kill his Farah, but Armeng's hounding him down, so he's not even able to. Lip doesn't get the time to establish the sightline he needs to get that one shot onto the Farah and start winning the fights.
And he's playing around cover, which means that Lip has an even harder time of finding the Farah.
Lux does connect onto Bacon Jack, but he's got an Ana there to keep him nice and healthy. To waste it out there from Void, essentially, as Jimmu goes in deep. He does get found out. An icicle from Fletter puts him to rest for now. Now, Velto commits the Valkyrie, looking maybe to his map just to keep all of his team healthy as Molly finds Izzyaki. Bacon Jack goes onto the high ground, nano boost onto Armeng, looking for the bat, but does get frozen by Fletter. And that now picks up a health pack, and that's going to be Fletter versus the world. He gets hit by the ground pound. They can just leave him be for now.
And the odd composition that's being run by the Hunters ensured that even in that 5v6 scenario, they still were able to win.
Yeah. It's the power of having multiple angles pressuring down a team, but this is a good fight for the Dragon. You've got the Infrasight, you've got the Blizzard, you've got the Amp Matrix, and you've got the Trance. There's no ults. You're fighting into no ults here.
And Shanghai are going to try for one last stop on the cart.
Elsa gets found by Stand 1, and I think that might be fight already. Pharmacy looking for something. Fletter firing through the window pane, trying to pick them, but ultimately having a hard time with the projectile there. I wonder if will Chengdu stick this? Will they keep running Arming on the board? It's definitely his strongest heroes. Bacon Jack looks to be going on the flank looking for Lip's head, but Arming falls to Izzyaki, and that's a horrible stagger for them to have.
Yeah, well, it is Ameng's strongest hero. I don't think it's working super effectively here. I mean, the heroes that Shanghai have chosen are focusing down Ameng, and he's usually the first one down in a losing team fight for Chengdu.
This is great pressure here from the Hunters. They've got Bacon Jack and the Pharmacy pressuring down the backline. Blizzard comes through, connects onto Armeng. The poor man just wants to play the video game but can't.
I'm sure he's probably got chess opened up on another monitor so he can play because of how often he's dead. I mean, he might as well.
Yeah, he's getting frozen. This Jimmy just chucks in the barrage onto Li Zhegon. Does find him and gets res back up. Bacon Jack has got Lip in his sights, but he's only on 80 health. Gets healed up from a Veltar though. As Jinmu goes in and dives the Widowmaker. Not going to have any luck against this Pharmacy, are you, Lip, as he falls down to the rockets?
No, there's a reason.
Izzyaki turns is far too late, and Stalls out another 5 seconds or so on the cut, but he gets found out eventually, I'm sure. Boyd picks up Molly. There is a chance this could be fought, but no, not with Jimmu in the skies, harassing down the back line and the front line.
There's a reason that Farah Mercy is so fun to watch, and it's once Jinmu finally gets picked off, Yveltal is right there to res him back up again, and then it's like he never left. We're
Jimmu
seeing.
goes over to the Genji now.
So I think a swap off of the Mercy might be in order too, because the Mercy is not going to be. And there we go. We're going over to the Brig. I kind of anticipated that because the Mercy is useless without the Farah.
Yeah, you don't quite get the same height to work with here. Someone gets pulled off the high ground. Uses Bongo and the shield. Else just going to disengage. First hit the pull. Armeng again going in. Getting hit by all the CC. Bacon Jack on the flank against Lip.
The Hangzhou Widow duel.
Does get Lip as Void goes down. Void goes down to the mines. Lip is Venom Mind.
Oh,
and now
there goes Lip.
Body.
Now we know which sniper is the most valuable to her team.
Absolutely, as Fletcher's going to try and survive here, but Yveltal finds him. Now, Izayaki and Lige gone. Where are they going?
They're off on some flank, but they're leaving the rest of their team behind, and that's all of the support
They're trying
line.
to stay alive, but they've just put themselves in an even worse position for their team. Armeng slams it onto Void. Lip finds Jimmy with the McCree as Armeng answers back onto the McCree. Better forced out into the midst by the knockback from the Wrecking Ball's right click. There's Bacon Jack gets a clean headshot onto Izayaki. Lige Gong and Izayaki have entered back into the fight, but Izayaki down instantly and Lige Gong falling low as well.
I think it might just have been too late for the supports to reappear, because by the time they got there, the rest of the team had already been engaged, and they had to use their cooldowns, so they didn't have them to get back to their support so their supports could heal them up.
There's only a meter left as Lige Gong swinging away, trying to find something. Does kill Yveltal. Void now. I think he's been a recipient of a nano boost. Picks off Elsa as well. Jimmu trying to cause some damage. Does go for the blade, but I don't think that's worth it. He gets hit by a double stun and then the Deadeye. And that's how you shut down a Genji.
And the only ult that Chengdu has is that nano boost, and it'll be interesting to see who they use it on, since they don't have the Rhine or the Lucio to go for.
Armeng is on the Sigma now. Bacon Jack switches over to McCree. There's 12 seconds left. You're going to have to get back onto the point and stall, but I don't see who's going to make it. I think that's too far away. I don't think they can touch this car.
No, they definitely can't. I think time's going to run out, and we're going to have... I think that's the end.
Agonizingly just too slow to make it.
But that's perfectly fine, because now Chengdu just has to show that they have a superior defense to the Shanghai Dragons.
Chengdu essentially finished the map there. Obviously, they didn't get all 3 points, but Shanghai are going to have to pick up basically all 3 if they're to win this map.
Yeah, because the cart was so close to that third point that putting it right ahead of that will put it right on the final point. So they're just going to have to push it to the end and hope that Chengdu falls apart for them.
Well, yesterday against the Spark, they didn't quite finish the map. They didn't even get to the second checkpoint, but their dominance on defense with this Pharmacy and Widow that they ran for a lot of last year, this sort of DPS heavy threats from all angles. They're able to full hold the Spark.
We're seeing a Farah Genji from the Shanghai Dragons for their push, which, I mean, I don't know how effective that's going to be. I guess you have the mobility, but that Widowmaker could potentially shut down Fleta very easily. And we see Lip go over to the Widowmaker because even he realizes that Genji is just not a good pick.
So it's going to be dive coming out from the Dragons and bunker from the Hunters. They've gone back immediately to change things up. Stamina onto the arrest and the Sigma comes through. Lip onto the Hangzhou now. As Fleta gets found immediately by Elsa.
Oh, come on, Lip, you tried the Hangzhou in the last round and the Widowmaker just dominated you. Don't try it again.
But we'll see. Fleta gets rezzed back up. Jimmy poking in. Found a nice little sweet spot there. Fleta gets slapped.
Well, that's...
Molly with a...
That's one less threat in this fight for the Hunters.
Gets healed back up by Lige Gong, but Fleta just wants to play the video game. He can't.
Fleta's trying so hard to find a place where he can get a decent pick, but it's just not coming through.
Look at how far back Jimmu and Yveltal are playing. You're going to be hard-pressed to actually get any shots onto them. They're playing so far back.
Yeah, the fact that they took such a long flank, and that opened up a 4v6 opportunity for the Hunters, and they took it, taking down stand 1.
Yeah, Lip's going to be looking for his pharmacy, but not going to have a sightline if they're playing over these roofs. Lip now going to have to focus on winning the Widow battle, but again, Bacon Jack playing so far back, you're not going to be able to really find picks onto any of these DPS.
No, I haven't seen Bacon Jack at all this round.
Going around the fountain, nice and safe. As Void goes in to engage, gets stuck in the room with the mini. Let's get out there as this might be an epic Pharaoh duel for the ages. Direct rockets exchanged. Jimmy now looking for Izzyaki. Lige going a little low in the sky, but he'll be fine as Veltor tops Jimmy back up.
We see the
Ooh, that's bad for stand
oh
one.
no, stand one. Just
Gets
get
away
out of there.
fine, but Lip does not.
So now Bacon Jack has free reign because the other Widow is not going to be hunting for him.
Yep, as Izzyaki falls to Armang. We'll be seeing Flatter really starting to win this Pharaoh battle. At the moment, they're just changing blows, but the 4v4 is definitely favouring the side of Chengdu.
Yeah, that Pharah Mercy battle is definitely going the side of Jinmu. I don't think Fleta has the Pharah that they need. He's definitely the Pharah that they need, but he's not the Pharah that they deserve.
They might regret selling off Ding for this point here.
No, I think they should have used Ding and DM, but I like what Lip is doing. I just don't think his team is working around him.
Stamon is looking for Bacon Jack, but all these little tight angles, it makes it hard to actually to follow up on one of these dives. Void goes low to the Orisa, banks out. Armand uses Bongo, and for a sight is through from Lip. Bacon Jack doesn't have anything to counter that. As they're going hard dive onto the front line, Elsie uses Flux, but he dies almost instantly, negating that ultimate entirely. Void picks up a second. Jinmu barrages, finds Stam 1, and then the Baby Diva.
But is that enough to get Chengdu the win in this team fight?
Both teams have raised one up. We've seen more of this Pharaoh poke battle here. As Lip finds Molly, that's a big pick from the Widowmaker.
Yeah.
As Fleta goes diving in with this barrage, you won't even need it to seal out this fight, I don't think.
No, and some of the interesting statistics that I found in researching these two teams, Ameng playing the Wrecking Ball usually secures a 12 to 15% increase in the rate in which they win team fights. They win far more often when Ameng is on that Wrecking Ball, and they can win almost 20 to 30% more team fights when Jinmu is on the Pharah, which just goes to show you how good both of those players are on those respective heroes.
Yeah, absolutely critical to this team's success as Almen goes up for a dive and then dives to the barrage. That is a key out, but that is also your main tank, I guess, acting as gone from the equation.
And that's precisely the reason that Chengdu just play whatever Chengdu wants to play, because they know that they can win with the heroes that are so unorthodox in this meta.
Absolutely. Bacon Jack has popped the infrasight, but he's not finding any heads to click.
No, but that's
Armang did get clicked by a sleep dart though, so he does get the live to keep alive, but he does find Lip. Lip falls to the right click there of Armang. There's now Stam 1 dueling Bacon Jack, not finding any value.
No, and
he's swooping up to try and catch him, but Bacon Jack just rotates away from him, and now Stam 1's without any abilities.
That's a sentence you don't hear repeated all too often. We've got a Widow dueling a Wrecking Ball. That's quite unorthodox.
Well, seeing Jinmu 63 to this barrage, a bit closer than Fleta. Haven't seen a single pharmacy battle be won. It's a war of attrition they're playing. Chengdu favouring, as I said.
No, it's really just trying to distract the other Pharah from making picks onto their team. I think both of these Pharahs are playing a defensive battle versus an offensive battle.
Bacon Jack falls and Lip finds Jinmu. Stamon going very low to Diva, but does survive, as this might be point B capped. The Dragons are at least getting precariously close to us. He felt out going for a Battle Mercy play. He did pop the Valk, didn't find anything, now he's getting pressured down. He survives this. This will be impressive Mercy mechanics as Nano Boost goes on to Arming. He's going to be looking for a kill here, at least one or two. Bacon Jack finds Stamon and Arming, as the prophecy said, picking up Izzyaki.
And
dashes through onto Lip.
Yveltal is such a fantastic Battle Mercy. I mean, you've never seen Yveltal play a better Mercy. I don't think there's a better Mercy in the league.
I'm not sure. I think the only can really challenge in terms of Battle Mercy is Neptuno, but Battle Widow we do have as Lip wins the duel. Pressed back up there by Valtar as Lip now looking for Arme. Doesn't get any luck, can't really get a decent sight line, goes up for the grapple shot and gets knocked down immediately. This is just pestering him down. Jimmu goes to the barrage, but it's a barrage onto a barrage. But Fletters is more profitable as he kills the entire pharmacy. They are 2 for 2, well, make that 3 for 2, and they don't touch the point.
And that's Chengdu Hunters taking the second map up 2-0 against the Shanghai Dragons. I didn't see that coming. Personally, I mean, I think Chengdu is a fantastic team, but I didn't see them winning 2 maps in a row against the Shanghai Dragons.
Shanghai Dragons need a reverse sweep to try and get anything out of this map, but if the Hunters play as they happen, I don't see them getting it, to be honest.
No, Chengdu are Chengdu are running away with this series. Depending on the composition they run, I don't think Shanghai can come back from this.
Leave has subbed in.
Wait.
They've picked up Bacon Jack for Leave.
I very much doubt that Leave is playing a Torbjorn.
This is the attack spawn room, though, so we won't know until about 30 seconds' time. We're seeing Bunker coming out from Shanghai.
Now he's onto the Symmetra.
I'd be happy to see either of those picks play, to be honest. I do enjoy some Torb and Symmetra.
Yeah, and we haven't seen any Torb this week. We saw Torb a lot last week, and we saw them in the friendly matches between Valiant and Gladiators. That was some fun matches to watch.
Incredible spectacles to watchers. We're going to be seeing the Pharmacy. Leave still on the Symmetra. Maybe just going for a teleport. Yep, does get a teleport, does get his team forward a little bit quicker. Now he's going to be switching over to something more sensible.
Let's see what he picks.
Going to the Hanzo.
Hanzo. So, Far Mercy and...
is on the flank. Poking in between these...
Oh no! Li Shagon!
Is tragic.
You can't let that happen. You cannot allow that.
The angle and threaded the needle.
That's it. I think...
back onto Leave, but losing Leave's nothing in comparison to losing Li Shagon. That's a lot of hours as Armin picks up Flatter.
And Chengdu's going to take the first point. I think that was a very quick first point take.
Jinmu playing on the ground there, going after the zone near SRM, finding it, and now moving on to the point. Li Shagon is back to try and support his Sigma, but
what is he going to support?
Yeah, and chase back into this small room here where Jinmu can just fire rockets with abandon.
Yeah, all he has to do is lob them in there and hope that they hit something, and with the way that they're bunched in there.
Test.
And now he's going over the top. He's trying to make space for the first push.
Yeah, nearly got Izzyaki there, but did fall there. Lip's gotta start killing this Pharaoh. It's unfortunate first fight to lose Li Shagon, but now with this high ground.
It was such a quick take on the first point. They have 5 minutes to get to the second point.
So if you look at where Lip can play up here, he's about the same height as this Pharmacy, which means it's going to be a lot easier for him to put them in his reticle and hopefully kill them if you're on the side of Shanghai, but he's just not finding the conversion.
Yeah,
the healing from Yveltal is so good to keep Jinmu alive.
Yveltal, like I said, Yveltal is quite possibly one of the best Mercies in the league.
And Lip falls to Jinmu. Flux comes through from Elsa. Li Shagon does find Jinmu getting revenge there, but Yveltal's going in, and he's hungry for blood as he finds Li Shagon.
And Jinmu used his ult, but all he found was the immortality field. What is Yveltal doing?
Yveltal's picking up Jinmu's sack as he was in the spawn room. Jinmu switching over to Mei, the high ground here. Too powerful for the recruit to have, so far safer pick.
Wow. Yveltal told that Zenyatta, he said, "You think you're the most offensive support. Watch this."
Yep, Zen's Orbs of Discord have got nothing on a Valkyrie.
No, definitely not.
Now, Fletcher's got the Blizzard. Iron does drop the Supercharge, and the Flux comes through early from Void. The immortality field keeps him healthy.
And both teams are trying to protect their hold on that.
The cut is still moving. Among is
Who's
still
sitting on it? Irisa.
Yep, as Elsa losing the shield battle there. Cut is no longer moving as Jinmu finds Izzyaki, but Armain goes off the map to stand one.
Jinmu swapped over to the Mei. They're trying to mirror match with the Dragons, except for that Mercy. Even Yveltal is just like, well, I took out the Zen once. Let's see if I can keep doing it.
Elsa gets froze during his accretion as him and Molly are still alive, but they really need to die sometime.
What?
Niziaki picks up too, and this is just staggering them out horrifically.
Yeah, what were they?
Elsa will be able to get back and save them.
Yeah,
You need to accept your fate as Molly falls to lip and Elsa goes. A good 10 seconds off the clock.
and they were trying to stay there in the back. I don't know if they thought the cavalry was coming or what. I think they thought the rest of their team was on their way, but they weren't.
No, Spawn's too far away to have any effect there, as now Bunker's moving up to this high ground. It'll be very hard to traverse past this, as they're going to be committing to the inside rotation. Lip Sonic Arrow shows them this, and they're going to rotate around to this high ground here.
So support ults have been reset as both Molly and Yveltal swap off of their respective heroes. We see Molly get off of the Baptiste so that Yveltal can take the Baptiste.
Now, a lot of poke damage coming through as 2 down already for the Hunters. Elsa not surviving as long this time as Lip picks up Among as well, and that is a fast fight with no real invest.
No.
They use the amplification matrix from Li Gong, but that's it.
And unfortunately, yeah, going into this next one with the ult economy squarely in the Dragon's favor, especially with the Dragon Strike and the Gravitic Flux being online, and Blizzard and Transcendence aren't that far behind either.
No, it's a very bad fight.
Yeah.
The Hunters to get into is 1 minute 45 left on the clock.
Let me see. I don't know who that is making that rotation, but somebody's trying to make a flank, and looks like it was the
Everyone's
Sigma.
down into the basement battle in the castle. As Elsa gets frozen up, they can't quite convert as Flet uses the ice block there. As the Dragon Strike and the Flux come through, Armain can't stand the pressure and falls. Elsa uses his own Flux and doesn't find anything. Jimmu looking to freeze up some targets, but Leave loses the Hangzhou duel. Transcendence through from Izayaki, but Molly falls to Void on the flank here. A nice probably just clean up for the rest of the Dragons as Elsa falls, and now it's just a lone Jimmu.
Oh, Jinmu. That's that's going to be another fight. And Chengdu went from having 5 minutes in their bank to push this cart to the second point. Now they only have a minute. They have less than a minute. I don't think it's possible.
They do have a few odds coming online soon. We can't rule them out, but given the way Shanghai have been holding on this point, it would be unfair to say that they're definitely going to push this, as all comes through from Jim, who doesn't actually get any value out of that as Leave. Falling a little low, gets topped up and cut off inside the basement again as Jimmu going into the basement looking for something here.
This is the kind of play we've been waiting to see from Shanghai all match, and it's finally coming out on the third map.
Is it too little too late as they push aggressively down to this basement? No one's there though, and the cart is all the way back to the first corner now. They're going to start moving it again as the Sigma and Mei on the flank for Chengdu. They're all off the front line, but Jimmu against 2 tanks probably isn't going to end well. That Dragon Strike's going to help him out a bit as he goes to 22 health. Gets picked up as Izayaki finds Leave, but Armin answers back into Li Gong. Void looking for something, looking to do some damage, but he is going lower and lower. Stamon drops the shield, but he gets pulled up, used to the Fortify to save himself.
Now everybody on the Dragons are fairly low, and Chengdu is missing their main or their off tank, but can they keep pushing it? They're going to get a little bit of distance. It looks like they're doing it.
Already got. Look, going low on the high ground. It's healed up by Li Gong. He does have the Dragon Strike. The Flux comes through.
Oh no!
Awang falls, and here comes the Dragon Strike. Jimmu did use his Blizzard, but Flatter's got one to answer back. Stamon being kept nice and healthy. Elsa's Flux used to save himself from going off the edge, doesn't find anything, as Blizzard and Transcendence are now available for the Shanghai Dragons. Jimmu stalling it out with all of his might, but he's going to fall eventually, and that is the round over.
Okay, but they only got 1 point captured. Shanghai has a chance to start a reverse sweep, but that means that Chengdu can't full hold them.
Yeah, you saw on Dorado how strong the Chengdu's defense was.
Yeah, meaning there is a very strong chance that they could full hold at point A, especially with how well they seem to know this map. All the ins and outs, they've practiced it, they've drilled it. All of the Chinese teams have really drilled these matches, or all these maps, and
they've not been playing.
Yeah, it's a huge advantage of not having to play for 8 weeks.
Yeah, lots of time to gel more as a team.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Lip is on the Bastion, but it is in the spawn room, so we can maybe fingers crossed that We get some lip bashing in our game, but I don't think he'll stick it. I think he'll go over
No,
Hangzhou.
Bastion isn't mobile enough for this map. Now, if we were playing Paris, I'd say different opinion. But this is
Bastion
not
trying to get
Paris.
some revenge for all his fallen brothers here in the Omnic War. Don't think it'll be happening today, though. As we're seeing similar comp coming out from Chengdu, running the bunker. Pharmacy is mandatory from them at this point. Jimmy and Veltel filling up. That as Lip does switch to the Hangzhou, so only two Omnics for the Dragons roster today. As pause comes through.
Another pause. I guess we've got some technical issues that we need to sort out.
They were sourced out remarkably quickly as the attack starts off.
Okay, let's see what kind of
Void goes low
points they have.
Right, Stamon waiting to shield, but the amount of poke damage they're getting is immense. And Jinmu picks a support off again to open a fight. He's already halfway to his barrage.
The match just started, man. Come on.
Lip has gone over to McCree to try and deal with him, but the amount of healing he's going to get from Evaltar means he's going to need a few good headshots to really get some damage onto him.
Oh, Jinmu.
Jinmu does get discorded, but he can just wait that one out. He's happy to play this slow, patient Pharaoh and then turn up the speed when he needs to.
And unlike the Hunters, the Dragons can't even get close to the point.
Lip looking for him in the sky. When he looks up in the sky, his team starts losing on the ground.
Mm-hmm. Lip is needed in so many places at once, but he just can't be everywhere at once. Especially not with Jinmu pressuring him so badly.
Jinmu already has the barrage, barely took him a minute. He could just, and he does, he just drops it right onto Fleta. Long range rockets do find the Lip as well, and another fight won for the Hunters. I don't know what I'm seeing. Li Gon switched over to the Baptiste, but look at this position here from Jinmu. He can control this tiny corridor.
And Baptiste isn't Li Gon's strongest hero either.
No.
So that it doesn't look like Shanghai is playing to their strengths. They're just trying to counter, but they're not countering with something they're strong with.
No, and that could make all the difference. Look at Izayaki, he's trying to see Jinmu, but he's happy to just wait. He can play slow, and then when he needs to dive in fast, he'll do it as well.
And Izayaki may be content to wait, but he just can't. He can't afford to let Jinmu keep terrorizing up in the sky.
Jinmu flying into the choke. Barely halfway to another barrage. This is just disgusting. Disgusting Pharaoh play coming out on Eichenwald.
It is, and I think I'm not too skeptical to say that we may just see that full hold.
It does seem quite likely as Elsa uses the flux, finds Li Gon. Li Gon even Armeng falls to Fleta, but this might be fine. The Hunters, especially as Jinmu is still alive, still kicking in the backline.
Whoa, Yveltal!
Picks up another two.
What?
Fleta, let him have it. Let him have it, Fleta. Fleta,
Oh
please.
no! Oh no!
Doesn't get it. See,
Chengdu.
even though Rollock came in, they are basically playing quad DPS now, with Armeng and Yveltal picking up the slack of the DPS.
Chengdu is the only team I know that would say, we've got the nano boost, how about we use it on our Mercy? That sounds like a good idea. You know, this is why you're winning.
They're fan favorites for a reason.
They were actually
pushing in Lijiang, getting close to the Matrix. Dragon Strike cutting them off in the choke. Yes, the Blizzard comes out. He's gonna freeze up Elsa. Amon uses the supercharge, and Jinmu picks up two. Please stop,
Jinmu.
It's just not fair to have you playing the same game.
So right now we've got our two star DPS for Chengdu Hunters, Jinmu and Yveltal, going to town on the Dragons.
Yeah. Put Leap on the soldier and he'll fill up the healing from Yveltal.
The
30 seconds left. Lip gets slept. They've got 4 ults to work with Shanghai, but there's none on the side of the Hunters. But Jinmu's going to build up a barrage easily in this fight.
Jinmu. The rate at which Jinmu has built up his ultimate is, it's bonkers, man. It's so insane.
We're seeing the shields crack almost instantly as the immortality field tries to keep up the front line. And the flux comes through from Void just to reposition on the point. Doesn't get anyone with it though. Ameng falls to the accretion, and
we're in overtime. We're in overtime, and Shanghai haven't even managed to step on the point.
They've got a tick now as
they have a tick.
Jinmu finally finds one onto Li Gon. Lip does win the Hangzhou duel, but the pharmacy is still alive and still prospering in the skies as Jinmu starts to hunt down Lip, looking to find the skill onto the other DPS here. Not quite finding it, happy to pressure down the exits to the building as he has the barrage. Boy's gone over to the ball just to try and touch. Stanmore falls on the point, and here comes the barrage. He finds Izzyaki and gets a lot of damage onto Lip. And now it's just Void versus the world, and that's
That's a
all she
win for the
wrote.
Chengdu Hunters. And at the very end, I'm sure if you tuned into some of their mics on the Chengdu Hunters, I'm sure it was just Jinmu saying, "Don't worry, guys. Don't worry, guys. Just wait a little bit longer. Let them get a point. I've got my barrage coming on, and then we'll just win the battle. How about that?"
Adding up his stats there on the Pharaohs. That's going to be 3-0 coming through for the Hunters. And
I
who is the best team in China?
I don't know because we saw Chengdu lost to the Hangzhou Spark, but Shanghai won against Guangzhou, and we're seeing where it's just this never-ending cycle of like this team is better than this team, but this team is better than the other team, and it's just going around in a circle. I mean, the Chengdu Hunters so fun to watch.
Yeah, but if they can build up the consistency they need, they could be playoff challengers.
And that's the only problem, or that's the only issue I could see coming out of the Hunters is that they're not a super consistent team. You either get the Hunters, or they are hunted by the other team.
Yeah, and I think what the Dragons going to do, they had a good win yesterday, and now they've just been through by the Hunters. Are Fletcher and Lip the DPS they need? Do they need to maybe not bring in the two pairs, bring in DM and Fletcher maybe for the stronger Widow, I'd say? And
Well, just like we saw in the first few weeks from every single team, they're just trying to see what works. They're swapping out different rosters, they're trying different heroes, they're just trying to find what works, and I think once they discover what works, we might see the Dragons start to come back a little bit stronger than they were.
yeah, we're 8 weeks into the season, but for them this is just week 1, so we can't exactly bear them by the same metric as we would, say, the Shock or the Fusion.
Which means that it's a good thing that they're separated into their own conference because the Pacific teams, they're their own conference, and now the Chinese teams have their own conference, and that means that we can rank them within themselves instead of as a whole to the other teams.
Yeah, can you imagine setting up a game between London Spitfire and Shanghai Dragons? That
Yeah,
would be
it's not even fair to compare the two.
no. That's gonna
However,
make
my money would be on the
rankings
Dragons.
I would probably back the Dragons over the Spitfire as well, but I believe that's all we've got time for today.
I think it is all we've got time for today. Thank you guys so much for joining us. Our apologies for some of the visual stuff that happened. That was production issues coming from, live streaming a game in China over to the United States. It's bound to happen. So we're going to put the link to the full match down in the description, as well as links to Instagram, Twitter, if you guys want to follow us there. We keep posting updates as to how this all is unfolding. And thank you guys so much for watching. My name is Spherno, and that's Pear up above me, or wherever Europe is from here. And that'll be
A lot to the right, yeah.
that'll be Shanghai Dragons versus Chengdu Hunters.